This week, Jimmy and I are at Old Bahama Bay, which is located on the west end of Grand Bahama, only about 50 miles from Florida.
So our goal for today was get a bunch of lobsters and conchs so Kenny could cook them for us at Sandy Key.
We pulled up to the first spot and Kenny said jump in the water and check it out and see if there's any conch there. So I jumped in and right away I saw conch all over the place. I was bringing them up 2 and 3 at a time and handing them to Kenny in the boat. I was literally done catching our conch for lunch in about 3 minutes. We had more than we needed. We just took what we needed, left the rest there, and moved on to catch some lobster.
2 at once, not bad. Woo! The current's really moving real strong right now. We've already got about a dozen conch, which is more than we need. We've only been out here a couple minutes. I think it's time to go ahead and run out a little further, try to get some lobster, because we have what we need for lunch for conch. Maybe even a couple extra for dinner.
All right guys, we're here with Captain Kenneth of West End Water Sports and we're about to do some lobstering. First I want to show you guys what we need in order to go lobstering. Good pair of fins. I have my Cressi Gara Modular fins here. You need a mask and snorkel for sure, and a good pair of gloves. And also here in the Bahamas, you're allowed to shoot the lobsters, so we're using a Hawaiian sling. So now let's go get them.
We pulled up to some of these sandy ledges where there was just like white sand that came up to the grass flats, and the lobsters kind of burrow out holes underneath the grass flats.
So as soon as we got to the first spot, I put on my Cressi Gear and jumped in. So I swam down to look underneath the ledge to see if there was a lobster there, and I spotted like these little antennas, and there was a really nice lobster underneath the ledge. So I swam up with the lobster, and I was like so excited. I had the lobster shot right between the eyes, and I swam up to the boat and I handed it to Kenny.
Good job.
Right in between the eyes.
Nice one.
Yeah. Awesome. All the spots that we went to, we not only saw the lobsters, but we also saw barracudas, triggerfish, all kinds of fish around us.
And then we saw some triggerfish as well, and I kind of had in the back of my mind, man, I bet those would be good for lunch, but I really didn't think that I'd be able to shoot and kill one of them with the Hawaiian sling, because I really didn't think it had enough power unless I got right on the triggerfish. I actually was able to get pretty close to one of those triggerfish, and I pulled back and shot, and I actually hit it and stoned it. So it kind of worked out good. So now we had lobster, conch, and triggerfish for lunch.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Triggerfish for dinner! Ooh, that's a good one too.
So I swim down, I'm looking around ledges, I'm looking everywhere, and I see this antenna sticking out of a hole, like a really tiny hole. And I'm like, there's a nice lobster in there, but I wasn't sure if I could get a good shot at it. So what I did was I stuck my hand in that hole, and I was like, I'm not gonna lose this lobster. I need to get this lobster. I stuck my hand in that hole, I grabbed it by the horns, and I pulled it out, and I got the lobster, and I was super excited swimming up with it.
We were lobstering in anywhere from 5 feet of water up to about 25 feet of water. It was actually easier for me to grab the lobster with my bare hands than to use the Hawaiian sling, because I'm just so used to catching them with my hands. So I would kind of tickle them out of their holes or their coral or whatever they were up in with the Hawaiian sling, and then just catch them with my hands.
So during this lobstering dive, we saw so many cool things, not just lobsters. We saw barracudas, Jimmy shot triggerfish, multiple triggerfish, and another cool thing was we saw a gigantic turtle. So we saw this gigantic turtle, and the turtle was like almost as big as me. Actually, it was probably as big as me. The turtle wouldn't leave the area, so I decided just to swim down and swim with it. So Jimmy spotted another triggerfish, he swam down and shot it.
I saw another triggerfish and it was bigger than the first one that I shot, so I went ahead and swam down on it and took a shot. I hit that triggerfish and it just took off with the shaft in him, and I had to chase him down a little bit, but eventually he fell and I went ahead and grabbed him and brought him up to the boat.
So after that, Jimmy just handed the triggerfish to Kenny.
At this point, we had plenty of food for lunch. We had several lobsters, conch, and a couple triggerfish, so we decided to go ahead and make our way back to the island so that we could cook up some lunch.
Yeah, that's good meat, yeah.
So after having enough lobster, conch, and fish for lunch, we headed over to Sandy Key.